Hey everybody, it's Tim and Steve from Phantom History House. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
We are doing frequently asked questions tonight, everybody. Thanks for watching Phantom History House Calls.
We forgot to hit the We're off to a good start.
All right, everybody. That didn't quite go exactly as we planned, but we are doing frequently asked questions. We often get the same questions over and over from guests who show up here to stay at the house. And so we are going to do that. But first, let's talk about things that are going on. This is the end. We've had a great summer special.
Mm-hmm.
Any room, any night, $125. It's really quite an amazing deal. We've had a number of guests take us up on it.
Yeah.
And this is the end. It ends on Labor Day.
Yeah, we are right before Labor Day weekend. We do have a couple of rooms booked this weekend, but we still have some room. And on Sunday, on September 1st, which is the day before Labor Day, we are going to do a special edition of Ghost Stories Around the Fire in the air-conditioned library.
Yeah, so come join us for that. I know Labor Day is usually sort of like a end of the summer, relax, get ready before you launch into the whole fall. So you need a break. So come spend it with us. If you're watching, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please say hello. Let us know where you are watching from. And if you have a question for us, of course, we're going to share our frequently asked questions from guests.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions or comments about what we're doing, of course, weigh in. So we're getting ready for the big spooky season. We are starting to decorate this weekend, moving stuff to the front yard.
Yeah, we did a little bit already this week to try to figure out how
test stuff.
Yeah, put out some lights and see how it looks. We have learned that when a bad storm blows through, things get knocked over. So we have to go out and pick some stuff up. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Kristen. Good to see you both. And Chris.
Thank you guys for watching.
So this weekend is going to be a lot of staging and kind of placing stuff to see how it goes. But we do have a vision in our head of what we want the yard to look like.
Yeah, and it's going to become really, really different from last year in a way that I'm really excited about. So it's going to be a completely different vibe. We're really being very thoughtful about this. And I don't think it's going to photograph well. We'll see. I think it's going to look good, but I think you need to come see it in person is my point.
Well, always.
And we would love for you to come stay with us during the special spooky season or any time of the holiday season.
Yeah, and before we dive into our Q&A with ourselves, which we're doing a little bit different this time around, we don't have a guest calling in. The call is coming from inside the house. We want to remind you of all the great stuff we have coming up for the spooky season. We have Mama coming back, who's going to be doing a seance on September the 20th.
And I'm going to interrupt you. Or are you already going to say it?
Yeah, but go ahead.
It's sold out already, everybody. Yeah. But we do have 4 tickets left for guests at the B&B that night. So if you book a room, you can still get a ticket.
Yeah, those tickets are held back for overnight guests. So if you do want to add that to your package when you stay, you certainly can. But there are still, I think, like 5 slots available during the day where he's doing readings with tarot cards, crystal ball, and something about a new chessboard he has that he might be bringing this time.
Really?
Which I don't know how that works. I'm really intrigued about that. So we're going to have tons of questions for him.
A whole new way to do it, I guess.
So we are so excited about bringing that in. And of course, he's coming in October as well. We're going to do a Witchy Wednesday version of our seance in October. So check out our website. You can see all that. And of course, we are trying out different costumes on ourselves for our literary soiree. We've already started selling tickets for this. But remember, if you book a room on that night, which is October 26th, you are invited to the party. So book while you can before that sells out.
And then at the party, you don't have to really worry about anything. You can just, shall I say, stagger up to your room? Not that that's what's going to be happening at the party.
Yeah, there might be some wine involved, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there might be some. Yeah. Hey, thanks everybody for watching. I see Cindy's here and Sue.
Hello, Sue. And
I should put my glasses on.
And Sue says, can we come up this weekend, Saturday through Monday in the Ouija room? Absolutely. I believe the Ouija board room is still available.
It is.
So hop on our website. You can look at the calendar and you can book as
this is like the cheapest we have ever offered the rooms. Yeah. But we love having people here. It's like have your getaway before the fall launches in, and you can see us getting ready for the Halloween. I'm really excited.
Yeah, there's going to be some a little bit of chaos in the front yard as we're putting all the stuff together. While you relax in the air conditioning, we'll
organize chaos. But yeah, that's happening. Don't forget, we're having a scavenger hunt and ghost story event. We're having Ghost Stories by the Fire. Yes. We're doing ghost tours, start up on September 20th. So all the fall stuff is happening. You have to come see us and spend some time with us during the spooky season. You're not going to regret it.
Yeah, and of course, we would love to see you, and we always appreciate the support. And hello, Cindy, who is not in Maine, who is in West Virginia. She commented twice because she forgot she moved, which I love. So,
well, wherever you are, we're glad you're watching, and yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody, like we said before, we're doing frequently asked questions. We have the same guests keep asking us the same questions all the time, and so we thought that would be a fun way to do this. Are we ready? Is there any more we need to say before we launch in?
No, I don't think so. But of course, if you have any questions that you want us to answer, feel free to put those in the comments.
Please do.
We'll do our best to get to them. So we decided that we would kind of write our own list of the questions we hear the most and ask them to each other.
And so we haven't compared notes on this at all. We may have the same questions because we are obviously getting the same. I think it's noteworthy to point out that my questions are on this little notepad, and Steve, of course, has his on his laptop because you're so much more tech savvy than me, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're watching, thanks for watching. So let's start with the first one. I had a clear one that I feel like we get asked the most.
Probably the same one I have on the top of my list.
All right, so do you want to say yours first?
No, go ahead. I want to see if we compare.
Okay. Well, the first one I wrote down is, where did the paranormal theme come from? Is that the same one for you?
Yeah. How did you come up with the idea for the
right?
B&B?
That gets asked the most. I think everybody come in and they think it's cool, and they like it, and they're like, "Well, why this?"
Yeah.
So, do we answer that now? Is that the point of this?
Absolutely, we should answer it. So I have always loved the paranormal, Halloween, spooky, anything, but it actually stems from my love of history. And I have had this idea of having a paranormal themed bed and breakfast ever since I stayed at a bed and breakfast in New Orleans back in the early 2000s, which wasn't themed, but it was New Orleans. So it was so cool. I was like, this would be amazing to be able to offer this vibe wherever I am. And of course, here we are in Tampa, Florida. So when I told Tim about the idea, he liked it, but you tweaked it a little bit. You wanted
like I said, let's make sure it's a very high-end elevated thing. So let's make it a really lush, nice, high-end experience. So we got the very best linen sheets we could, really high-end towels. I'm making baked goods. We're just trying to make it a really elevated experience. It's a beautiful, hopefully people think a really beautifully appointed place. I was just mentioned that you have the podcast, which is called Phantom History, and we're Phantom History House, named after your podcast. So that's one of the ways I always answer it too.
Yeah, so it all ties together. And, we also always point out that we're not a scare house. We're not a haunted attraction and the like Halloween Horror Nights or Hollow Scream vibe. Nothing's going to jump out and get you. We, like to host things that are themed to that, but we're not a jump scare house.
Yeah, and I'm not I like Halloween a lot, and I think I've gotten really interested in all of this as we've done it, but I am not like a paranormal guy, right? So I'm more about the baked goods and the let's make everybody comfortable. And as I've said before on these conversations, my favorite thing is to watch people come in, and especially if they're here for at least a couple days, watch them just relax and turn off the world. You can see them sort of rejuvenate and relax and recover a little bit. And that's one of the favorite things I love.
Yeah, absolutely. And we like to see people kind of walk in and they're like, what have you done here? And they're a little bit tentative. And then they come in, they're like, oh, this is so cool. And they just kind of
And if you want to book a room with us at any time, or even this weekend, as we were talking about, you just go to our website at phantomhistoryhouse.com. Just click on the room, select the dates, and do it right there. It'll ask you for the extras.
Yeah.
Or if you have any questions, you want to discuss it, of course, we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first one you had on your list?
Yeah, and Sue, we see your email. We will respond to you as soon as we get done with our live tonight. So
that's awesome.
You'll hear back from us very soon.
Okay, so that was the first one I wrote down because I feel like we get asked that the most. So what was the next one for you?
So the next one I get that we get asked a lot, isn't it weird having strangers come into your house and spend the night?
You get that?
I get that.
I don't get that.
Oh, yeah, I get that a lot.
People ask you this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not like right away.
What it is about you that makes you want to...
I don't know. But we do get that asked a lot. And, we had to adjust to that. I mean, admittedly, when we first started the B&B,
it was a little...
like, there's people coming to our house because we live here on site. So it's like, okay, if we got to run out to buy some milk or we got to go somewhere, there's people hanging out in our house. Now we look at it like, hey, we have friends here. We're kind of like a boutique hotel. So it totally works. It totally makes sense. But it took some adjustment to get used to that. But I also think it takes some adjustment from the guests to get used to that too, especially if they've not done a B&B before.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't even think about it anymore. I'm just always happy when someone's here because I'm thinking about that part of it I just mentioned. I'm thinking about, okay, somebody hopefully is having a wonderful time. They love the space they're in. Yeah. They're relaxing. They're enjoying the brownies or whatever we've made. And I just So but I do remember at first. I mean, I've never been one that loved having house guests. Interestingly, I know,
Well,
but this is different because I feel like it's not having a guest that's that's taking over your space. They're taking over their space.
yeah, we cultivated a space for the guests, so that's totally how we look at it. So no, it's
Hi, Tina Marie. Thanks for watching.
It's not weird. I feel like we've gotten really good at welcoming people to the house and making them comfortable, and we help them make the experience that they want to have.
Okay, so I have my next one.
Okay,
and this is when you're giving a tour.
Yeah,
like you might get this too. I'm interested to see if you get it the same as I do. This always shocks me, but we talk about that we did this right. We chose the colors and laid it, and people often ask, "Well, are you designers?" Do you ever get that?
Yeah, I do get that every once in a while.
And we're like, no.
Not intentionally.
We're both kind of artistic, I guess, but or at least I am. But no, that's always a wonderful compliment. What I always say is we had a lot of guidance from really artistic, smart designer type people. I think of like Michael Rayford, for example, who's a worldwide heralded theater designer and marching arts designer, and he helped talk us through, okay, this is how you need to think about this. This is how you research what Victorian is and all those things to really get us on the right page. But we just sort of figured it out.
We had a template of, we tell the story all the time. You're watching a scary movie and you see this eerie, beautiful house. We wanted to kind of replicate that, but in a friendlier way. So we kind of had it in our heads what it would look like, and once we found the house, we knew that we could kind of change it.
Yeah, once we figure that out. But but whenever people are always shocked, did you do this yourself, or did you hire designers? I always find that it's a huge compliment.
Yeah,
and we got, like I said, we got good advice. We had people that gave us advice even as things were being built. But it's kind of ours. Okay, what's your next one?
Well, speaking of, whenever people get here, we do like giving the tours and show them around. And the other question I get asked all the time, after we wrap up the tour upstairs and start our way downstairs, they look at me and say, well, where do you and Tim live?
Oh,
where
we do get that a lot.
We get that a lot.
Yeah.
So answer that one.
I have to answer this one.
Yeah.
Well, we have an apartment that is part of the house that is off stage, sort of. And so we have our own space that is lovely, and it's sort of like a big 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm very comfortable there. So we do have our own space. And then the other thing people ask, which may be on your list as well, is, well, is it
designed like this?
Yeah, is it also spooky and Victorian or whatever? And I'm always like, no. That turns off, and it has like my Star Wars stuff and Disney stuff. And it's very not this, because we need a little break.
Yeah, and what used to be the garage is an apartment converted by the previous owner. So that's where we work and sleep and kind of.
It was an extra big garage too, so it's a nice space. Don't worry about it, everybody.
Yeah. And that's a good question, Kristen. Kristen is asking, how many locations did you look at before finding the Phantom History House location?
That is a really interesting question, because it seemed like a million, but it really wasn't.
No, it went like that.
Because we were looking for a needle in a haystack.
We had this checklist of things that we needed the house to be, and also the things that we wanted. Two of the big things we wanted was a separate living space and a pool. This one does not have a pool. We hope to do that eventually. Once we get a little bit more traction and are making more regular income.
So come stay.
Yeah, so come stay.
Help us get that pool.
Help our pool fund. But we really only looked at 3, I think.
Yeah, well, the thing was, we really were looking for a needle in it. Well, we drove around and saw some places we didn't go in.
Yeah.
But we did. There was a house. First one we looked at was way down in South St. Pete, which was really beautiful, cool. But didn't turn out to be the right fit. But we needed to find something with exactly the right zoning, with the right space, could be turned into the bedrooms, it was really amazing. You found this.
Yeah, I hopped on.
He gives credit, everybody, for finding this location.
Yeah, I hopped on Zillow or one of the apps and saw this house that was available.
And usually we were only searching for places with pools, so it was amazing that you found it.
Yeah, you kind of broaden your search. And I saw this place, and our amazing real estate agent, Danielle, was able to get us in here to check it out, and we fell in love with it immediately. So we're very happy that we made it here. Thank you, Tina Marie. We are very happy that we ended up here as well. And Kristen, your follow-up question, how long did we look? We looked for about 3 months?
3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Before we landed here.
We started in June.
Yeah, and we moved in here in September.
Yeah, and we were here in September. So it was pretty fast. I mean, it could have been something that was really, really difficult, but we found this space. Yeah. And actually, as soon as we walked in, if not drove up, as soon as we walked in, and we just realized, oh wow, like
Yeah.
this is set up just for what we want it to be. There's all this light, there's all these windows, there's the spaces were perfect, this huge kitchen,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. You guys know when you've been here, but that was the thing. And we were like, you know what? Everything, and it has this huge space, yard. It's very private. Nothing behind us. Like we were very excited about all this. Am I waving? Am I about to hit you?
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
All right. What's next on your
I'm
list?
getting animated with my arms and hands.
Which is fine, but don't break a bottle.
Oh
don't
God!
break me.
I can't believe this one's up next. Are y'all still watching? They may all sign off after this.
Oh, this will be a good one.
Okay. Believe it or not, everybody. Should we say who the audience is that always asks this?
Oh, then I know this question.
Yeah. Well, we get this question a lot, especially when people are booking on some of the online apps. Are you clothing optional? Yes, everybody. No. I was going to say, yes, that's actually a question, not yes, the answer is. Holy crap. Let me just go back. We are not a clothing optional place. I do not want you to be undressed sitting on our lovely antique furniture. Is that the right way to say that?
Yes. In your room, whatever, just close the blinds. But yeah, we do get asked that quite a bit. And some people have decided to not stay because of that.
Yeah, I know, and that's fine. But I mean, I think that's a lot of people like that. They feel like if I'm going to get away, I want to be able. I don't understand that so much. I have no qualms about it happening.
Listen, we live in Florida, and I'm sweaty all the time, so I don't. No, just follow that train of thought. No.
Well, but the point is, that is not something that we are set up for or that we're comfortable with, because we are a high-end modern Victorian destination with beautiful stuff. Yes. It's just not appropriate here. There are places you can go to do that. But anyway, that is something we get asked a lot, particularly on some of the booking apps. And a lot of times people will not book after, we tell them we're not. And that's fine if that's what they're looking for. Yeah, they missed out on how cool this all is. And my baked goods and everything in your stories.
Apparently we're missing out too, but that's
all
okay.
Right, so let's move on.
So the question I get a lot is, how do your neighbors in your neighborhood react to the Phantom?
We do get that a lot.
We get that all.
What do your neighbors think? We hear that a lot. What do your neighbors think?
Yeah,
and they're great. Everybody, they love it. Yeah, they're wonderful. We have the best neighbors.
Yeah, we do, especially in our little cul-de-sac. We're the end of a dead-end street. Our neighbors directly across the street and diagonal from us have been super supportive, and the entire neighborhood has, actually. When we first opened our doors, we held an open house for the entire neighborhood, so they could come see what we've done, explain why we had a Halloween decoration out in front of the house, and it was like February. So everybody got it. They understood. We've had some people in the neighborhood who have booked the house for different events, different parties, birthday parties, for example. So that was, we were really fortunate to land in a great spot, and our neighbors right near us are fantastic.
Well, and the main thing I will say is that our neighbors, we're trying to be good neighbors. It's very important to us that we are really good neighbors. And our neighbors know that we're not like a party house. That's the difference in an Airbnb and a bed and breakfast.
But you can have a party here.
You can have a party here, but it's like it's not like a party house where, like, if you get an Airbnb and it's unmonitored and people tear it up and they're making music and there's nobody sort of making sure everything's okay. Our neighbors know that we are always here making sure everything's okay and making sure that everybody is safe and comfortable. And so it's not appropriate for us to have those kind of parties.
Yeah.
But we are having people book Halloween parties here at our place. What happened?
Comments. Great neighbors keep their clothes on. Exactly.
Yeah, so, I think that's a good rule. But and to Kristen's question earlier, the pool will not change this. This at all. Sorry, but that's just something not we're here for.
And to your point, Nathan, we're great for social gatherings. You can have a birthday party here. We've had a wedding here. We have music. There's dancing. But like around 10:30, 11, we start quieting people down, go inside because we are in a neighborhood. Want to be respectful. But we've had some very successful, very fun parties here, which has been great.
Yeah, it's just there's party and then there's party.
It's not a wild party.
Yeah, I mean, it's
All right. So, what is your next question?
I get asked a lot: is the house haunted?
I get that asked.
We get because of our theme. People ask that a lot.
Yeah, and we always have different answers. So, what is your answer to that question?
Well, I kind of say, like, well, would you want it to be haunted? Like, are you interested in possibly? Because I think I basically tell people there's nothing here that's harmful or scary or that would hurt you. We have had some investigations that or psychic mediums who have told us that there may be some spirits here, but if they are not. They're friendly and nothing scary.
Yes. So
some people really want it to be haunted. They love that idea of being in a haunted place. And so we can talk to them about the spirits that we've been told might be here, but there's nothing here that's going to keep you awake or scare you or frighten you or interrupt your stay.
I mean, all that's true. And my answer is always like, yes, it is haunted. We have at least 2 regular spirits that we have heard guests have interacted with. But to Tim's point, they're not malevolent. They're very peaceful and playful. And we have an agreement with our spirits who are here. Let our guests sleep. Don't bother them if they don't want to be bothered, and don't break our stuff. And so far, they have followed those rules. I think that we've also been told when we have events here, like tarot card readings or seances, some guest spirits come in to visit with the family members that are here who want to communicate with them. Some of them may decide to linger for a little bit before they leave, and some may leave with the guests. We don't know, but yeah, I think we're haunted. Yeah, I've seen some stuff, but I've not been scared of anything.
Nothing has made me want to run out the door screaming. Okay. And I think if you're worried about that,
other than me,
you can come here and have a wonderful, relaxing time. I don't want anybody not to book a stay because they're worried about something getting them, ghost bothering them. That's not the kind of situation it is, even if we do have some spirits here. What's your next one?
My next question is, are you already booked for Halloween?
You would think. People think that we are already booked for every night in October, which, gosh, I wish was the case.
Yeah.
We actually still have reservations available on Halloween night.
Yeah. And lots of them throughout the month of October. Again, we're still pretty young. This is only our second Halloween season of being opened as a B&B, so people are still discovering us. Which, growing pains. We're not where we want to be yet. I would love for us to be booked every night of October, but we're just not there.
So there's plenty of space if you want to come join us and enjoy everything.
Yeah, and if you have friends or family coming in town the next month and you want to come join us, check out our website. You can look at what rooms are available which nights. We do have some bookings that are starting to trickle in. We just booked an event here mid-October. But, there's plenty of time and space still available to book a room.
Yeah, we hope that you'll come see us. Go to our website and click on the events tab and just see all the stuff that's planned for this whole spooky season.
Yeah.
Is it my turn again?
It's your turn.
I'm down to just my last couple.
All right.
Oh, I'm down to my last one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so your list is a lot longer than mine. So we're sitting in front of the bottle wall, the potion wall, as we call it here in our potion room. And I get asked a lot, how long did it take you to collect all those bottles? You get that?
I do get that. That's a good question.
Yeah, we get asked that a lot. But there's another question that goes with it. But first I'll say, people ask, how long did it take you to collect all these? And the answer is basically about a year, I think. And we're still obviously always on the lookout for anything cool. We really don't need to add any more now because every time we bring one in, we have to figure out one that's going to leave. And we feel like we've got it kind of set up. But anyway, that is one of the questions. I always tell people the story that most of them were found 1 or 2, maybe 3 at the time. We're at an antique store, an antique mall, a thrift store, even online, like Facebook Marketplace, whatever. The big mother lode for me was that a woman had collected a whole bunch of maybe 50 bottles for her wedding.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and she didn't have her wedding and she sold them all in bulk. So I met her in the parking lot of a CVS and she had these 4 big boxes full of glass bottles. Now, it turned out that maybe a fourth of them were wine bottles, which we ended up putting somewhere else, and now they're sort of gone. So I think I ended up maybe getting about 30 bottles that day. That was like the biggest find I had. It was super exciting.
Absolutely.
But most of them have been found 1 or 2 at the time, just depending on looking them and finding them. We've had a couple of people offer us some. If you have a bottle that you think would be good here, just let us check with us first before you send it. Let us know the size and send us pictures and stuff because we don't want you to go to the trouble to send us something if it's not really going to work.
Yeah. And okay. So there was the second part of that.
There is. The other question that people ask a lot when we're in this room and they're looking at this, I don't know, you know what I'm saying to say?
I'm not sure.
Who dusts all the bottles? Because there's no glass, there's no covering or anything. We actually originally thought that we might need to have something, like we were going to put like a metal grate. Because I kept imagining people falling into it and breaking them, and there would be glass. That never happens, of course. We finally came to our senses and decided. But that gets asked a lot. Who does the dusting? Who has to do dusting? Steve does most of the dusting, everybody. We sort of have designated jobs around the house.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that you do.
Yeah. You take care
I
of
will say this. what would you think?
You take care of the fish tank. I take care of the.
I do the fish. Yeah. But, and people are not going to like this. They're going to start clicking off when I say this part. But one of the things we really do is try to keep the house really clean all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things we realized early on is that the house always needs to be ready for someone to just suddenly come in and book a room.
Yeah.
And I've never been one that's really great at keeping my spaces clean until this, but it's actually easier if it's like always clean and ready. And we actually have had people call us, do you have a room? I'm sitting in the driveway.
Absolutely.
That has actually happened. Yeah. And they came in. So we have to have the rooms and the house pretty much exactly where we need it to be all the time.
Yeah. And as far as dusting this thing goes, I have it on a rotation. So I don't dust the whole thing. Like every time I clean, it's like I do a couple shelves this time. The next time I do a couple shelves next time. So it's like in this, so they all stay
really?
clean.
No, I didn't even know.
Yeah,
but my point was, we don't have to do as much dusting as you might think because there's not animals here. We keep the house really, really clean. And there's just honestly not that much dust.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Before it was rainy, there was a lot of like sand dust, but luckily we're in rainy season. All right. Want to hear my next question?
Yeah, I'm out.
All right. What is your favorite bedroom upstairs?
You get asked that?
I get asked that. Yeah.
I don't know if I get asked that. Why do you get asked that?
But
are you asking people what theirs is?
No. I mean, I usually do eventually, but yeah.
Well, what's your answer?
The portrait room.
Really?
Yeah. I like the portrait room because to me, it feels the most Victorian and a little eerie. And, it's kind of like we always joke, this makes me a little bit uncomfortable. We should buy it. I'm kind of like that too. I think that it's very, I can like feel the history in the room, with all those old pictures. We don't know who most of the people are in those photos. We know some of them.
A lot of very old photos.
Yeah, but not all of them. So it's kind of fun to kind of look at them and then you wonder who these people were, or what they were doing, and what their backstory is. And I like the colors and just the vibe of the room. I love all the rooms upstairs. Again, it's like picking your favorite kid. But if I had a favorite kid, it would be the portrait room. Yeah.
If you're watching, type in and tell us which one is your favorite room.
And hello, Andrea. We're excited for you to stay in the portrait room.
The thing that every time we're giving a tour, we're showing someone the portrait room, we open up the door to the bathroom. Everybody's like, this is so big. Like every time people are freaked out, amazed that there's this long hallway. The bathroom is really quite large.
It is.
And that's something I'm proud of. Both of the bathrooms on that one in the castle room are both really large bathrooms. And I think that really helps you feel like you have a lot more space because those two rooms don't have the advantage of the deck on the back of the house.
So what is your favorite room?
Castle
room. Okay. Which
surprises me. Well, the Beast is in there and I have a thing for the Beast and I love that Beast art, but to me, it's super romantic and cozy. People really love the faux wolf fur.
Yeah.
Like we've had more than one guest who spent the night there and asked us like, tell me where you got this. I want one of these at home. I think the candles are super romantic. I love the big bathroom with the castle stone wall. I just love that room. And it's the smallest one. And since we're telling stories, that was the room we were most worried about.
It was, yeah.
Because it's the smallest room. And we thought, okay, this is the smallest space. We want it to be special.
Yeah.
And if you remember what Michael Rayford said,
again,
our wonderful designer friend, Michael Rayford, who I had some conversations with, he said, that'll be the easiest one.
That'll be the easiest one because it's not as big, as not much to fill. And the bed is the centerpiece.
Basically. Yeah. What he said was it'll be the easiest one because you just need one thing. Like when you have the small, this is new. Here's design advice for you, everybody. When you have a smaller room, he said you just need one thing. Like we got the big, giant, chunky, 4-poster bed, which was there's a story there too. But anyway, really, really wanted there to have this big, old, castle-y looking 4-poster bed. Yeah. And he said once you have that, that's the room, right? Everything's sort of built around that. So the candles and the art and everything facilitate that. And I do think I just love that room. It's super cozy. I think it's really romantic.
It is romantic with all the candles. And, thank you, Andrea, who said that each one I have stayed in so far has been so fun and unique. It's hard to pick a favorite. And that's what we want. We want each one to be its own experience as you come, encourage people to come back.
Do you see Kelly?
And try them. And Kelly, the cemetery room is really peaceful.
It is a lot of people love that room.
Yeah. It's
like a lot of people say they're really drawn to that room. It is. It's not somber though, but I do think it's very peaceful. That's a good word, Kelly. It's a good word.
Peaceful and whimsical.
Yeah, I do think it is.
So another question I ask a lot that I know you do as well is, can I bring my kids?
I don't get asked that.
Yes,
We are not set up for kids. This is what
like
we say.
little kids.
We are not set up for little kids. I mean, we have lots of breakable, sharp, dangerous objects around because we are sort of set up for an adult crowd.
Yeah.
So we don't get asked that very much.
Right.
You get asked that a lot?
Well, pretty often. And I usually answer, we're not set up for smaller kids, but like teens that are supervised, that are mature. Yes. It really is a case by case basis. And of course, if we have an event here and there's kids involved, we have that conversation. But but we're not like the paranormal Chuck E. Cheese for your 5-year-old. We're not that. Wouldn't that be amazing if there was a paranormal Chuck E. Cheese? I would be all about that.
Maybe on the next episode of the next season of Wednesday. But anyway, I think it's also lovely to be in a space without children. And I don't mean that I don't love children and I don't enjoy being around children, but I feel like it's good for an adult couple to be able to leave their kids at home with the babysitter or grandma and like have their time. And I feel like as an adult, I think it's a really different experience to be in a resort space where there aren't children. It's a really different feeling.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, we're
not anti-kid, but we're not set up for kids.
Yeah, good question.
Okay.
Yeah, neither of us are parents. We're much better uncles. That's what I would answer that too. You can wind them up and send them home.
You got more?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Maybe you get asked a lot more questions than I do.
I always get asked, how old is the house and what's the history of the house?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We do get that sometimes.
Yeah. So, the house really isn't that old. It was built in 1980. So it is 44 years old. See that quick math I did?
So impressive.
I know. Should work at NASA. So it's only 44 years old. So it's so it's not very old. But it was owned by one family before us who raised their family here and took amazing care of the house. And we want to respect them and what they built.
And I'm really proud of that, actually.
I am too.
We're only the second owner. And for 42 years, they built the house, moved here. A couple from Ireland moved here, built the house, raised all 4 of their children, had weddings here. All the kids left. That's really cool. And they were very obviously this was their pride and joy. And we love carrying on that legacy of that.
Yeah. Yeah. They had a lot of friends and events and stuff going on here too. And we're kind of carrying that on as well. All right. I have one more on my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How would you describe your podcasts, plural, each podcast?
Okay.
Why the look? So we have 2 podcasts that are affiliated with the house. We have Phantom History, which is the podcast that I started in 2019. And we have Conjuring Phantom History, which is one that we do together. So Phantom History, the original one, is kind of like a creepy news broadcast where I introduce a haunted historic location and I talk about its background, where it came from, why it's there, what purpose it served. And I talk to paranormal investigators and historians that talk about their experiences there. So it's like a history lesson with a creepy vibe in there. And you get to hear directly from the people telling their story because I incorporate their voices. Conjuring Phantom History is kind of something we came up together later.
Yeah, well, there's all this other stuff that we wanted to be able to talk about and share. And the format of your main podcast, Phantom History, is very formal and there's a certain set to it. And we wanted to be able to just share conversations and interesting topics and things. So we decided to have sort of a sister podcast where all the other stuff. Plus, when you do those interviews with historians and paranormal investigators and things for your Phantom History podcast, those are long, really interesting conversations. You use little snippets of it.
Yeah, I chop it up a little bit.
That it's really interesting to hear these people talk long form, talk for an hour about this place where they live or work. And so I like that we were able to share those too.
Yeah, and the Phantom History podcast, a long version of that is 25 minutes, and that's on the long side. Usually they're like 15 to 18 minutes, so they're not very long. Conjuring, can be hour and a half.
There's no rules for it, which is what I like.
Yeah, and this is a very good question from Kelly. Any updates on when the book is going to be available?
Yes, we are very excited about that. We have been working on the book. Wow, I was so busy all summer. We had so much going on with my other work and stuff. But we have really focused on the book the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we are getting really, 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 really close to having it ready. In fact, we think we'll be sending it off to Amazon Kindle within a week, if not before. And we would hopefully have some books to make available soon.
Yeah.
We hope.
Yeah, we're excited.
We're getting really close.
And to give some context, if you're not familiar, we have put together an anthology of short horror stories in a book called Phantom Menagerie, stories inspired by Phantom History House. And what we have done is we have connected with 16 local authors, most of them are local, who we unleashed on the house to go explore and look around. And they like that word?
Unleashed?
And found an object that spoke to them. And they imagined its backstory, or
so
were
cool.
inspired by us to write a story.
Right. So the stories use as an inspiration or as a character or some part of the story is about something that's actually here at Phantom History House. For example, we're sitting in front of the potion wall.
Yep.
One of the authors wrote a story about the bottle wall.
About the bottle wall.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing meeting and reading these creative writers and what they came up with. And, it kind of makes you look at the house a little bit different because we have our own, stories about how we got stuff that's here. But these authors have come up with these amazing backstories they're scary, they're eerie, they're weird. Nothing's going to like terrify you. And every once in a while, we show up as characters in the books, which is amazing.
Really interesting. When all of a sudden, and then they open the door, and there's Tim, and then the way they describe us,
I love it.
It's so weird to read about yourself and some author who you don't really know very well.
There's a lot of
describing it.
A lot of baking and facial hair. There's really in there.
So what is this? Okay, so I just wanted to show that little clip. That is what part of what the cover looks like from the wonderful Lynn Hanson.
And Lynn, actually, that bottle that you saw was one of the bottles that's actually behind us on the potion wall. Like right between our heads. Yeah, that light blue one. And when she was here in January, we helped her with some photos of all the bottles. And she created this amazing cover. And now we've seen the back cover. We've seen everything.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
So excited to show it.
So the book thank you for asking. The book has been laid out. And it is basically ready to send. We're on the very last edits.
Yes.
We sent this past week, actually, we sent the stories back to the authors in the form of the book and said, check your story one last time.
One more edit.
And there would be like one word or a punctuation. We're at that point, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the book will be available to buy here at the house as well as online.
Yeah.
When we go to expos and things like that, we'll have it as well. And
really soon.
A lot of the authors will have them available when they go and go to different events.
And there will be a big book release event. So watch for that because we're going to have a party and have a lot of the authors here. We'll do some readings. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So watch for, thank you for asking about that. We're very, very excited about that's coming up soon.
And hey, Victor, thanks for signing in. Good to see you. Hello, Susan. Good to see you as well. And, I also wanted to add on the Conjuring Phantom History that we were talking about. It's not only those excerpts from the podcast. We've had some amazing conversations with guests here at the B&B that we're including in there as well. So be on the lookout for those. And
sometimes we turn these episodes of these live events into those too, because it's everything that we think was interesting that people might want to check out. So go to Conjuring Phantom History on our website or on YouTube. Yeah. Well, most of those on website.
Yeah, website, they're all there for sure. So we got a lot going on all the time. We stay very busy. We're trying to create an experience here at Phantom History House that's unlike any other place you would visit. Creepy yet comfortable, as we always like to say. So that's what we're going for. So if you haven't been here yet, we hope that you will give us a shot and come check us out, book a room, come to one of our events. Again, we always have a lot going on.
And if you have been here, you need to experience Halloween.
Yes.
And then Christmas, but especially the Halloween season. We're going to have such a special display. We're working on that already, starting to put a lot of stuff out this weekend. It's going to be a little bit of a work in progress for probably a couple of weeks, but you definitely need to come experience that and all the stuff. And we're doing ghost stories every night.
Doing ghost stories every night. That's and right. We're going to have...
There's some big ghost stories by the fire events
yes.
that we're also doing. But if you're a guest here, we're going to make sure there's time for ghost stories every single night. And that means some baked goods and wine too.
Absolutely. And we're also going to have some extra special psychic readings going on as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of events.
Yeah.
Just go to our events tab on our website at phantomhistoryhouse.com.
Yeah, our good friend, the Mindful Seer, Kristen Giesling, will be here. Like I said, Mama will be here. There's a lot going on, and it's ever evolving. And or if you don't want to do any of that, you just want to come and escape and read a great book, you're welcome to do that as well.
I love when people spend their weekend that way, just quiet reading, even just
Speaking of which, we have this month, we have our book club where we're going to discuss Rosemary's Baby, which we talked a few episodes back about having seen the movie. You've already read the book. I'm almost done with it. I'm like 85% done.
I did finish the book already, and it's great. And it's a really well written thriller. If you like a thriller, it's amazing. Like, you are there with the main character. Yeah. And the situation starts to grow around her and become more and more disturbing and scary. And it's just amazingly well-written book. Yeah. And the movie is just as good. Yeah. And, the reason I brought it up is it's a great way to meet new people. And also everybody has a different perspective on these things that we read, which is always fascinating to me. So we'll be talking about that in September. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in September. So there's still time to read the book and to join us. And that event is free. All you have to do is find the reading material. Yeah, so excited about it. So are we done with our FAQ? I think so. Let's look at the comments page one more time. Make sure nobody has any questions we didn't get to. Thank you guys for watching. It's so wonderful for you to be here. And we are always looking for ideas for future guests and topics for Phantom History House calls. So if you have any ideas, feel free to shoot us a message here on Facebook or give us a call. Hey, Becky, I know you have events sometimes. If I choose not to participate, is there other places I can go around the property? Absolutely. There's a pond right behind. No, I'm kidding. No. What does she mean? Like, if the event doesn't take over? Rarely does an event like consume the house. No. If there is, like, say you're here on a scavenger hunt night, you can decide to stay up in your room if you want. And there are places you can get away from almost anything. There are occasionally. There might be a night where we're having a Halloween party, but usually on those events they've booked the house anyway. Because so the whole house, right? So if you were staying here, you're not going to have a problem getting away from an event if it's happening. Yeah, we've had people do that before. So there's plenty of places to go. Is Becky already planning her escape? Yeah, Becky's already planning her escape. I know she's coming out in November. Don't worry, girl. We won't make you. Oh, Robin's watching tonight. Hey, Robin, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody for all the support as we continue to grow. Please tell your friends about us. Send them to our website. Follow us on all the social media channels. Feel free to share those as well, because we are always letting people know about all the stuff we have going on. Hi, it's Amy, the majorette from Tennessee. Love the wedding. Love the wedding at the Phantom History House. Thank you, Amy. I loved talking to her. I love whenever I get to meet a majorette. That's always a special time. Absolutely. And that was our very first Amy, you're so nice to be watching. Very first ever wedding here back in July. Yeah, so. I really think she should have done fire batons at the reception, but we will talk about that for the future. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, no, it's wonderful. And listen, if you're watching this right now, you're the best way to help us get the word out and encourage people that would love this to come support us, be here, have this experience, especially during Halloween season. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Are we done? We are done. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. Check out our website, tune into our Facebook and our social medias, and we will let you know what's going on here. And we're here most every Wednesday night at 7 Eastern. And so watch the newsletter or social media to see what we're doing and make sure that we're here. Absolutely. Yeah, there might be a couple Wednesdays coming up when we're not here. So sorry about that, everybody. You can watch a recording that's on YouTube if you're really missing us. You miss us too much. but most every week we're here. And thank you. You're so nice to be here and watch us tonight. Thank you. Good night, everybody. See you soon. Come see us at Phantom History.